They say some secrets are too explosive to stay buried. And tonight's drama proves it. In a jaw-dropping twist that has left fans gasping and social media on fire. Jim Jones, Camron, and Chrissy find themselves at the center of the year's wildest reality scandal. The drama ignited after Camron and Chrissy were caught in a secret meeting that not only blindsided Jim Jones, but sent shockwaves through their tight-knit circle and left everyone questioning what's real and what's trave. Just a show. The fallout was instant. Jim Jones' reaction wasn't just anger. It was a meltdown for the ages. Insiders claim he snapped in a way nobody's ever seen. With accusations, tears, and betrayals flying like sparks in a storm. Family and friends were left divided, with some taking sides, others distancing themselves, and fans stunned by the real-life soap opera unfolding right before their eyes. What really happened behind closed doors? What secret could shatter years of loyalty and friendship in a single night? From late-night phone calls and mysterious messages to sudden unfollows and explosive confrontations, the truth is more shocking than anyone imagined. Buckle up, because this is the story that changes everything. It all started with whispers, though sly. Slippery rumors that float through the air before anything actually goes down. People had seen Camron and Chrissy together before, usually in big public group settings. Nothing ever seemed out of the ordinary. But then came the night that changed everything. A fan posted a grainy late-night video on social media, Camron and Chrissy slipping into a quiet, upscale lounge on the Lower East Side. There were no entourages, no bodyguards, and, most shocking of all, no Jim Jones in sight. The internet exploded. Fans of both Dipset and the long-standing Jim and Chrissy saga started speculating wildly. Was this just a friendly catch-up, or was something brewing behind the scenes? People combed through Chrissy's recent Instagram posts looking for clues. Did her captions sound more cryptic than usual? Why did Camron unfollow Jim last week? Within hours, #secret meeting was trending. And the drama took on a life of its own. Meanwhile, Jim Jones was oblivious at first. He was busy in the studio putting the finishing touches on his latest project, completely unaware that the internet was piecing together a story he hadn't even heard. It wasn't until a close friend sent him the video captioned with nothing but wide eyes and a shocked emoji that Jim realized something was off. He watched the shaky footage again and again, his heart sinking a little further each time. As the sun came up, new rumors were already flying. Some claimed Camron and Chrissy were planning a business deal behind Jim's back, while others insisted it was something personal, maybe even a betrayal that would rock their entire world. The group chat between Jim Camron and their old Dipset crew went silent. Not a single meme, not a single inside joke. Silence, as everyone waited to see who would break first. The first confrontation didn't happen in public or even in person. It was a flurry of late-night texts. Jim, usually the picture of swagger and confidence, sent a message to Chrissy. "What's going on?" Chrissy, for her part, answered hours later. "Don't worry, it's not what you think." Damage was done. Camron kept his distance, replying to Jim's messages with cold, one-word answers that made things worse. In the days that followed, the trio's friends started choosing sides, some siding with Jim, others with Camron, and a few even backing Chrissy for her right to make her own moves. The tension spilled over into the group's public appearances. Fans noticed that Jim and Camron were never in the same shot anymore. Chrissy started posting more solo photos, always with captions about growth and knowing your worth. Fans ate it up, each post fueling more speculation. Behind the scenes, things got messier. Friends of the family reported shouting matches behind closed doors. One insider described a heated phone call where Jim accused Camron of crossing the line and betraying a friendship that was supposed to last forever. Camron, never one to back down, fired back. "If you really trusted me, you'd know what's up." Neither man was willing to be the first to apologize. As the days dragged on, Jim's music started to reflect his mood. He posted cryptic snippets on his story, slow, moody beats with lyrics about snakes in the grass and watching your circle. Chrissy kept her cool in public, but friends said she was stressed behind the scenes, barely sleeping and constantly checking her phone for updates. Meanwhile, Camron's socials went quiet. For someone who loved to be in the spotlight, his silence was deafening. Fans started messaging him, asking what happened, why the brotherhood seemed to be falling apart. His only reply was a single post photo of a chessboard with the caption, "Sometimes you gotta sacrifice a pawn to win the game." Then came the leaks. First, it was screenshots messages between Chrissy and Camron, filled with inside jokes and late-night check-ins. Nothing scandalous, but intimate enough to raise eyebrows. Soon after, a voice note surfaced, Camron's voice, low and serious, telling Chrissy, "Whatever happens, just know I got your back, always." Fans and bloggers dissected every word, every pause, every emoji. The media pounced. Headlines screamed about betrayal, secret love triangles, and the end of Dipset as we know it. Every hip-hop podcast had a hot take, with some blaming Chrissy for coming between the boys, others blaming Camron for breaking the code, and a few defending Jim's right to feel blindsided. As one commentator put it, it's not just about music anymore, it's about trust, legacy, and loyalty. Through it all, the fans were torn. Comment sections became battlefields, with old-school Dipset fans mourning the possible end of an era, while new followers just enjoyed the drama. Twitter threads picked apart every detail, trying to figure out who was really at fault in the middle of all this chaos. Jim finally decided he couldn't keep quiet any longer. He went live on Instagram, his face hard, voice tight with emotion. "Look, man, I see what y'all saying. See the blogs, the comments, but real talk, some people just show you who they are, and you gotta believe them." He didn't mention names, but everyone knew who he meant. The live stream blew up. Within minutes, Cameron's page was flooded with messages, some accusing him, others begging for his side of the story. Chrissy, meanwhile, posted a single story, a black background, white text, "When you outgrow people, sometimes you outgrow the history too." Emotions ran high. The family was left divided. Close friends tried to step in, but nobody wanted to be the first to pick a side in a battle that seemed to have no winners. Fans started a petition begging for the trio to reconcile, but deep down, everyone knew things would never be the same. By the end of that week, even people outside the hip-hop world were paying attention. Mainstream outlets started running the story. Late-night hosts joked about the love and hip-hop chess match. For the first time, the private drama had become public property, and everyone had an opinion. And as the dust settled from Jim's emotional life, one thing was clear: this story was just getting started. The real truth about that secret meeting, and the secrets that came after, were about to surface. And nobody was ready for what would happen next. The days after Jim's livestream felt like a storm that refused to pass. Everyone was watching, waiting for Camron's next move. Old fans remembered when Jim and Camron had each other's backs no matter what. But now every word felt like a chess piece in a game nobody could win. The city buzzed with speculation. Every barbershop, every street corner, people argued about who was right and who was wrong. Even the DJs at local radio stations took sides, dropping sly references between tracks. Cam, single quotes run, finally broke his silence with a post that was as cold as the city at midnight. It was a throwback photo of him and Jim, arms slung over each other's shoulders, with a caption that read, "Loyalty is rare. Make sure you don't waste it." The comments exploded. People begged for answers, accused him of stirring the pot, and demanded to know what really happened at that secret meeting with Chrissy. Meanwhile, Chrissy was spotted at a high-end boutique, her head held high, but her eyes hidden behind oversized sunglasses. Paparazzi snapped pictures hoping for a reaction, but she walked right past them, silent and unreadable. The photos went viral. Style blogs praised her unbothered queen energy, but gossip sites dissected her body language, trying to find a crack in the armor. While the world speculated, the real drama was unfolding in private. Jim's mother, who'd always been like family to Camron, called him late one night. Her voice trembled as she asked, "Cam, what happened? You boys were brothers. I can't stand seeing this." Camron hesitated, torn between old loyalties and new truths. "I'm not the bad guy here, Ma. Sometimes things just change." But the conversation left him shaken. Behind the scenes, friends tried to play peacemaker, everyone talking face to face. Jim showed up first, jaw clenched, looking every bit the man with something to prove. Camron arrived late, with an attitude that said he was there out of obligation, not hope. The tension at the table was thick enough to cut with a knife. After some awkward small talk, Jim leaned in, voice low but loaded with hurt. "So, what's up, man? You going behind my back now?" Camron shot back. "You think everything's about you? You never even asked me what was going on." The producer tried to jump in, but both men shut him down. Chrissy arrived last, gliding into the room like she owned it, her presence changing the energy instantly. She took a seat, glanced at both men, and said, "I'm tired of everyone acting like I'm the problem." Silence fell. Jim clenched his fists under the table. Camron looked out the window, refusing to make eye contact. The dinner didn't last long. After a few more tense exchanges, Jim stood up. "If you can't be real with me, we've got nothing left to say," Camron muttered. "Maybe that's how it has to be." Chrissy sighed, pushing her plate away. "Y'all are acting like boys, not men." She walked out, leaving both of them staring at empty seats. Word of the disastrous dinner spread quickly. Friends who hadn't picked sides yet started to retreat, not wanting to get caught in the crossfire. Even business partners grew hesitant, afraid the drama might spill over and cost them too. Jim started getting less radio play. Camron's next show was only half full. Chrissy's brand deals began to stall. It was as if the entire world was punishing them for not keeping their mess behind closed doors. As the weeks went by, new layers to the story kept popping up. A blogger claimed to have secret audio from the night of the meeting, a recording where Chrissy's voice could be heard saying, "Some things Jim doesn't need to know." The audio went viral. Fans dissected every second, analyzing her tone, Camron's replies, and what the hidden context could be. The hashtag #WhatJim no started trending. In response, Jim posted another late-night story, this one darker, with only the words, "Be careful who you trust." Snakes smiled too. The internet erupted, debating whether he meant Camron, Chrissy, or both. Chrissy, on the other hand, doubled down. She posted a selfie with the caption, "Your opinion of me is none of my business," which fans turned into a meme overnight. The more they tried to move on, the more the drama pulled them back in. One night, a fight broke out at a club where Jim was performing. Someone in the crowd shouted Camron's name and tempers flared. The video of the incident hit the blogs before the lights came back on. Jim was seen being escorted out, face tight with anger, refusing to answer any questions. After that, Jim withdrew even more, started spending time out of town, visiting family, posting photos in places he'd never been before. Fans wondered if he was running from the drama or just trying to heal. Camron, meanwhile, started collaborating with other artists, dropping subtle disses in his verses, never naming Jim directly. But everyone knew who he was talking about. Chrissy tried to keep her own life moving, booking new projects and appearing on panels about women's empowerment. But everywhere she went, someone asked about the drama. Her answers were always the same. "I'm focused on my growth. The rest is noise." But behind the scenes, even she admitted to friends that she missed the old days when loyalty wasn't a question. And love didn't come with so many headlines. Meanwhile, more rumors started to surface. A well-known radio host claimed there was even more to the story than anyone knew, teasing that a new expose was on the way. Fans couldn't get enough. Message boards lit up with speculation. Was there a bigger betrayal? Did someone else in? The crew no more than they were saying. Every day, someone posted a new theory. Then came the bombshell. A leaked text thread showed that Camron and Chrissy had been meeting in secret for months, talking about more than just business. The messages hinted at shared frustrations, private jokes, and, in some places, a level of understanding that looked a lot like emotional intimacy. The internet lost its mind. Some fans accused them of crossing a line, others defended their right to friendship. But for Jim, it was the final straw. He unfollowed both of them on all social media, tweeted old photos, and posted a single word: done. The comment sections exploded. The Dipset era, the friendships, the history all seemed to end with that one word. Bloggers rushed to write think pieces about loyalty and betrayal, while fans begged for closure. And yet, even as the story looked like it was reaching its lowest point, there was a sense that something bigger was still hiding in the shadows. Everyone could feel like the energy, the tension, the possibility that the most shocking truth had yet to be exposed. By now, the entire city was caught up in the whirlwind. It wasn't just about Jim, Camron, and Chrissy anymore. Their drama was headline news radio shows hosted. Whose side are you on? Debates. Meme pages posted before and after photos tracking the trio's friendship like it was a celebrity breakup. Fans sent in their own theories, making TikTok videos and deep diving into every old interview, searching for clues that this fallout was years in the making. Even people who never cared for hip-hop found themselves asking, so what's up with Jim Jones, Camron, and Chrissy? Neighbors whispered, old friends texted each other, and the trio's own families tried to tune it out. But it was everywhere, at nail salons, at the gym, and especially online, where every new rumor could go viral within minutes. Cam's single quotes run, usually the king of clapbacks, stayed quiet after the text leak. His team put out a statement insisting there was no wrongdoing, no betrayal, just misunderstood friendship. But most fans weren't buying it. The leaked messages, full of inside jokes and late-night confessions, looked too close for testiggeries. For comfort. The blogs called it emotional cheating, and the phrase took off like wildfire. Jim's single quotes as silence, on the other hand, spoke volumes. After his done post, he vanished from social media for days. Some fans worried he was spiraling. Others thought he was plotting his comeback. It didn't take long before the rumors started. Jim was working on a tell-all album, ready to air everything in the most savage way possible. Producers and beatmakers dropped hints about secret studio sessions. He's putting it all into the music, one insider said. It's not holding back. Chrissy tried to keep up her usual strong front, but cracks started to show. At a charity gala, she was seen wiping away tears after a reporter asked one question to many about the leak. Her friends circled the wagons, but the press was relentless. This isn't fair, Chrissy vented to a close friend. They don't even know the whole story. Then, just as people thought it couldn't get wilder, a new player entered the mix. Camron's ex-girlfriend, Tasha. Out of nowhere, she posted a cryptic video on her story. Some people want to act innocent, but receipts never lie. Instantly, speculation exploded. What did Tasha know? Was she about to drop her own bombshell? Or was this just a ploy for attention? Not wanting to be outdone, a well-known gossip vlogger released what they called the real timeline. They claimed that the secret meetings between Camron and Chrissy began months before anyone noticed, right around the time Jim and Camron started drifting apart. The video, complete with blurry paparazzi shots and dramatic music, quickly racked up millions of views. Suddenly, a new theory took hold. Was this whole feud more than just a broken friendship? Were there business deals, money moves, or deeper betrayals underneath it all? Everyone became an amateur detective, piecing Together, financial records, past interviews, and social media likes to solve the mystery. The way these three move, it's like a season of Power, one fan joked. And the comparison stuck. Jim, meanwhile, was indeed back in the studio. A snippet of a new track leaked hard-hitting lyrics about trust, deception, and family, turning their back for a check. Fans flooded the comments with fire emojis, convinced this was Jim's way of taking his pain public. The streets buzzed. Was this just entertainment? Or was he really spilling everything for the world to hear? In the middle of all this chaos, Chrissy finally decided to speak her truth. She announced a live stream, teasing that she was ready to set the record straight. The comments poured in, a mix of support, skepticism, and pure curiosity. Some believed her. Others thought she was dodging the real question. Then why the secrets? One fan asked. Chrissy sighed. Because sometimes when everything around you is falling apart, you just need someone to talk to. That's all it was. The live stream answered some questions, but left even more hanging. Fans wanted hard proof, and the thirst for new details was stronger than ever. Then, almost as if on cue, another leak hit the blogs, a blurry but unmistakable voice memo of Jim and Camron arguing. In the audio, Jim shouted, "I gave you everything. You were my brother." Camron's reply was icy. "Nah, you only cared when it was about you." The world listened, stunned. The friendship had officially hit rock bottom, and there was no going back as the fallout from the voice memo settled. People began to wonder if this was all just the tip of the iceberg. An anonymous source teased the existence of a shocking truth about the secret meeting, something so big it would make everything else look tame. The blogs went into overdrive, promising exclusive reveals and countdowns to the next bombshell. While the world waited, Jim was seen leaving a downtown lawyer's office. Fans speculated wildly, was he suing Camron or Chrissy, or both? Was this about business or something more personal? Chrissy, meanwhile, was spotted meeting with a crisis management team. Camron's only public comment was a tweet. "People will do anything for a headline. Stay tuned." The pressure was mounting. Friends close to all three said nobody was sleeping, everyone was getting threats. And old wounds were reopening that had nothing to do with this particular fight. It was about history, pride, and years of love and loss finally bubbling over. Just as everyone braced for the next twist, the impossible happened. Jim, Camron, and Chrissy were all photographed in the same place at the same time, attending a mutual friend's memorial service. The photo went viral instantly, three faces side by side with miles of distance between them. The world watched, holding its breath. Would this be the moment that healed old scars? Or would everything finally shatter for good? By the end of that night, one thing was clear. The real secret, the truth about that infamous meeting and what was really at stake, was closer than ever to coming out. And this time, nobody would be able to turn away from the fallout. After the memorial service, the city seemed to hold its breath. Even though Jim, Camron, and Chrissy stood together for the first time in months, there was no hug, no warmth, just three people haunted by too many memories. Every photographer in the city wanted the perfect shot. News outlets ran the photo with headlines like "The coldest reunion in hip-hop and friends," or "Just strangers now." Inside the church, things were even messier than they looked outside. The trio barely made eye contact. Jim stood off to one side, stone-faced, accepting condolences but refusing to linger. Camron stayed in the back, surrounded by old friends who tried to keep things light but failed. Chrissy floated from group to group, offering polite smiles but rarely laughing. The tension was so thick it was almost visible, a wall built from years of trust and betrayal, now impossible to break down. As the service ended, friends and family began to whisper. Some hoped this moment might finally bring closure, but others said the pain ran too deep. One old friend, tears in his eyes, told a reporter, "I never thought I'd see the day these three couldn't even sit together. Something big had to have happened." Outside, fans camped on the sidewalk hoping for a word, a wave, a hint that reconciliation was possible. Instead, they got the opposite. As Jim walked toward his car, a reporter shouted, "Is it true about the secret meeting?" Jim paused for just a second, eyes flashing with anger, before shaking his head and walking away. Camron and Chrissy left separately, neither acknowledging the other. That night, the blogs exploded again. People replayed the funeral footage, analyzing every body language cue. One video with millions of views slowed down the moment when Camron looked at Chrissy across the pews. Was it regret, guilt, or something more? Comment sections became battlegrounds. Everyone convinced they could read the truth between the lines, but the real drama was happening behind closed doors. That evening, Jim and Cameron's mutual friendhood had enough of the chaos, decided to step in. He organized a meeting inviting both men and Chrissy, promising they could talk honestly with no cameras, no press, and no hangers-on. It was time, he said, to lay everything out on the table and try to find peace, even if that meant finally telling the whole, unvarnished truth. The meeting happened in a private lounge late at night. The air was thick with old memories and tension. Jim was the first to speak, his voice low and raw. "I can't believe it came to this. We built something real, and now it's like none of it mattered." Camron leaned forward, arms crossed. "Don't act like you're the only one hurt, man. You started shutting me out before any of this happened." Chrissy took a deep breath, her voice trembling. "We're being honest, I'm tired of being the excuse for why all stopped. Being real. I never wanted to choose sides, just wanted everyone to tell the truth." For a while, nobody spoke. Then, slowly, the dam broke. Camron admitted that the secret meetings with Chrissy weren't about romance. They were about helping each. Others survived, picking up the pieces as Jim spiraled further into his own world. "I wasn't trying to steal your girl, Jim. I was trying to help her when you wouldn't." Jim bristled. "So why keep it secret? Why all the lies?" Chrissy wiped away a tear. "Because you never listened, Jim. I tried, but you always brushed. Me off cam was there. That's it." The air in the room felt lighter and heavier all at once. Lighter because the secrets were finally being named. Heavier because years of resentment and pain were now out in the open. The three sat in silence, letting it all sink in. Outside, the world kept spinning. Fans speculated about every possible outcome. Some held out hope for a reunion. Others said there was no coming back from this kind of betrayal. The hashtags #reunite, #Team Jim, and #Team Cam single quotes Ron all trended at once. The story took another turn the very next day. A journalist with close ties to the trio published an expose with never-before-seen messages, private voicemails, and a timeline that suggested the rift between Jim and Camron had started long before Chrissy was involved. The article revealed that old business deals had gone sour, trust had been eroding for years, and several close friends had tried and failed to mediate. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Was Chrissy really the problem, or just the scapegoat for wounds that had been festering long before she came into the picture? The exposure sent shockwaves through the industry. Radio hosts, bloggers, and fans debated all over again. "Maybe it was never about the meeting at all," one commentator said. "Maybe these guys were always on a collision course." That night, Jim surprised everyone by posting a heartfelt video. He spoke directly to the camera. No music, no edits, just raw honesty. "I know people want drama, they want a villain, but sometimes it's just life. People change, things fall apart. I still got love for everybody in this story, but I can't go back to who I was, and I don't think any of us can." The video hit home. Fans flooded the comments with messages of support, heartbreak, and nostalgia. Some asked for forgiveness, others begged for a Dipset reunion, and a few simply thanked Jim for his vulnerability. Chrissy, moved by Jim's words, posted her own message. Healing is messy, and sometimes you've gotta let go to move forward. Wish everyone peace. Camron, true to form, kept it brief. Real ones, no. But even as the trio tried to move on, the world wouldn't let them. New leaks appeared, an old song recorded by Jim and Camron that was never released, now dropped by a mysterious source. The lyrics spoke of brotherhood, pain, and the dangers of letting outsiders in. The song climbed the charts. Fans called it the soundtrack to heartbreak, and suddenly, everyone was reminiscing about the old days. Industry insiders wondered aloud if this drama would lead to a new project, maybe even a reunion, or at least a joint interview to set the record straight. But those who knew the trio best said it wasn't that simple. Wounds this deep don't heal overnight. Trust, once broken, takes a lifetime to rebuild. As the dust settled on the latest wave of revelations, fans were left divided, still picking sides, still hoping for closure. But everyone could agree on one thing: the real, shocking truth about Camron and Chrissy's secret meeting. And the chain reaction it set off had changed everything forever. And somewhere out there, as midnight turned to dawn, one last piece of the story was about to break, something that would put all the rumors to rest. And finally answer the question everyone was still asking. What was the secret? The city was restless. After weeks of nonstop drama, leaks, and emotional confessions, everyone sensed that something huge was about to break. Rumors swirled that a never-before-seen video from the night of the original secret meeting existed proof, finally, of what really went down between Camron and Chrissy. Fans speculated endlessly. Was it about betrayal, business, or something nobody had guessed yet? Then, late one Friday night, the internet did what it does best. A grainy, dimly lit video hit the blogs, dropped by an anonymous source. It showed Camron and Chrissy sitting at a small corner table in that infamous lounge, talking quietly, unaware that someone was recording from a distance. The audio was muffled, but the faces said it all. This wasn't two people plotting against Jim, nor was it a lover's rendezvous. Instead, it looked like two friends in pain, supporting each other through something heavy, with some digital enhancement. Fans and bloggers pieced together snippets of their conversation. The clearest words were Chrissy's. "I just want him to listen, that's all." Camron nodded, replying, "He's stubborn, you know that. But I'll talk to him." The rest of the footage was just them sitting in silence, each lost in their thoughts, the weight of years between them. Suddenly, the whole internet's perspective shifted. People who'd spent weeks blaming Chrissy and Camron for the fallout started to reconsider. Threads appeared everywhere. Were we all wrong about this? One comment with thousands of likes read, "Sometimes the real drama is inside, not what we see on the surface." Fans flooded social media with apologies, tagging all three, asking for forgiveness for jumping to conclusions. But the real impact wasn't on the internet, it was inside the hearts of Jim, Camron, and Chrissy. The video forced them to confront the truth. Their pain didn't come from betrayal, but from years of misunderstandings, missed chances, and stubborn pride. The city, the fans, and the industry had turned a simple, private moment into a public. Circus.Jim watched the video alone in his apartment, replaying it over and over. He called Camron that naturally called, not just a text, not a diss track, not a social post. For the first time in months, they talked honestly. "I guess we both messed up," Jim admitted, voice heavy. Camron's reply was quiet. "But real? Yeah, man. Maybe we let the world in too much." Chrissy, meanwhile, finally let herself feel the grief and exhaustion of being caught in the middle. She spent hours writing a letter to both men, one she never planned to send, but just needed to write. "We let the world decide our story," she wrote, "but we're the only ones who know the truth." The industry took notice. Instead of more drama, a few respected voices called for healing. An iconic hip-hop magazine ran a cover story. More than friends, more than enemies. How love, loyalty, and fame tore Dipset apart. The story didn't choose sides. It just told the truth. Everyone lost something, and nobody really won. In the days that followed, small but significant changes happened. Jim and Camron's mutual friend, the one who'd tried so hard to keep the peace, invited both men to a backyard cookout. For the first time, they showed up together. No cameras, no press, no posts, just two old friends talking, laughing, and remembering why they became family in the first place. Chrissy started appearing in public again, this time with her own friends, refusing to answer questions about the past, but looking lighter, freer, and finally at peace. Her next project was about forgiveness and growth, and it quickly gained attention. Fans who had once sent her hate now sent love, sharing their own stories of friendship lost and found. Even the music began to heal. Jim and Camron, without announcing anything, started following each other again on social media. AN, old unreleased. Track from their early days surfaced. Nobody claimed responsibility, but everyone took it as a sign that maybe, just maybe, the wounds were beginning to heal. Fans felt it too. After all the fighting, trolling, and drama, the comments changed. "Maybe we all need to chill," one fan wrote. "If they can forgive, maybe so can we." The hashtag shifted from hashtag Team Jim and hashtag Team Cam Ron to hashtag Team Everybody and hashtag Family First. But healing isn't instant, okay? And not every question got answered. Jim, Camron, and Chrissy all agreed publicly and privately that not everything needs to be shared. Some truths belong only to those who live them. Still, their journey had shown the world that beneath the fame and chaos, real people hurt, real people heal, and real people grow. As for the so-called shocking truth the blogs had promised, in the end, it wasn't a scandal at all. It was a lesson that the messiest stories are sometimes just about miscommunication and love that refuses to die. The internet had wanted betrayal, but what it got was something deeper. The reminder that behind every headline, there's a human story. So the city moved on. Fans tuned in to new music, new stories, and new beginnings. But every time an old Dipset track played, everyone remembered the summer when Jim Jones snapped. Camron and Chrissy's secret meetings shook the world, and the whole city learned that even legends can break hands sometimes, just sometimes. They can put the pieces back together, and just like that, the story that started with a grainy video and 1,000 rumors ends, not with a final betrayal, but with a little hope. Jim Jones, Camron, and Chrissy showed the world that even when the drama seems too big to fix, sometimes the only way forward is through real conversation, a little forgiveness, and knowing when to step back from the spotlight. But let's be honest, fans are still buzzing. Did Jim and Camron ever talk about everything off camera? Or are there secrets we'll never know? Will Chrissy and Jim rebuild their relationship away from all the noise? And what about all those old messages and unreleased tracks? Will they ever see the light of day? One thing's for sure, when legends fall out, the world takes notice. But when they try to come back together, the world can't look away. If you've made it this far, you know every twist and turn, from secret meetings and emotional voice notes to that game-changing video reveal. The emotions ran high, loyalties were tested, and the whole family was left divided. But in the end, maybe it's not about who was right or wrong, but about how you bounce back when everything seems lost. Now we want to hear from you. Whose side were you on during this epic fallout? Do you think Jim Jones and Camron will ever truly be brothers again? Or is this the end of the Dipset era as we know it? Up your hottest takes in the comments below. Smash that like button if you love the drama, and don't forget to subscribe for more explosive stories, because you already know, in this game, the truth is never simple. And the next big secret is just a heartbeat away. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep sipping the tea.